guys, it's Christina the Walking Mama, and today I have for you breastfeeding products that I did not need. So a little bit about me. I am Christina. I have a 3.5-year-old and she was exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of her life and then breastfed well into her toddler years. Now, as a full disclaimer, this is what did not work for our nursing journey. I know there are going to be a couple of these products that some moms absolutely swear by, but these are just things that I either didn't get my money's worth out of, or I found another way to do it, or just didn't really become something that I actually did need to nurse. Now, if you missed my breastfeeding must-haves video, I will link it in the iCard. I think it's over here. And that'll give you a much better idea of what really did work for us. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is going to be these gel pads that are meant to clip onto your bra. So you get a set of 2, and this can either be put in the microwave or put in the refrigerator, and you can put them either directly in your bra, or you can actually hook it around the flange of your pump. So it'll go around like this, and it has the little piece on it to help hold it in place. So you can see here's the other one. I just really only used these maybe twice, and I think they were like $12 or $15. For me, I didn't really have a lot of intense pain with engorgement. Yes, there was pain with engorgement, but once I got a little bit of release, so once a little bit of milk came out, it felt much better. I do think that for the money I spent on these, I could have just used a heating pad that I already owned and would have been able to use this on something else. The 2 times that I did use it, it was effective. It did help relieve some of that. But instead of this, I could have just used a heating pad that I already owned. It wouldn't have clipped onto my pump, but I don't think I ever actually used it on my pump. So while I do think it's a good idea, I didn't end up using this product a lot, and I wish I hadn't bought it because I could have used that money for something else. The next product that I'm going to talk about, which is along those lines, is going to be these gel pad soothy things. What these are supposed to be a cooling relief up against the breast. And apparently they can like stick to your bra, and they can be reused for a day or 2. Some parents really like this. I never even opened the box. I didn't really need it. I used lanolin, and that was all I really needed as some kind of breast soothing. I wish I would have kept the receipt for it because I would have just returned it, but I was a new mom. I just lost the receipt. Whatever. I know that some hospitals will give you some of these if you ask for them in the very beginning. So if you want to have some of these, I would either recommend buy it and tape the receipt to the back so you can return it if you don't need it, unlike me. Or just wait and see if you'll actually need them, because if you need them in the hospital, you can ask for the hospital for them, and then you can just send dad or grandma or someone out to the store to get more if you absolutely do need them. I wish I would have saved this money for something else. The next thing that I regret purchasing is going to be this, and this is a hands-free pumping bra. So it wraps around your torso, and your flange pieces stick out of here on both sides. This is one by Medela. Yeah, this is a Medela one. It is a little stretchy. I regret buying it for a couple of reasons. One, they are ridiculously uncomfortable. You only wear it while you're pumping, but it felt like I was just being bound. Even though that this was a size bigger than what I thought I needed, it still felt really tight around the girls, especially when I was very full and I had a lot of milk in there. Trying to attach this on was a lot more cumbersome than I would have liked it to be. The other reason is that this was like $40 for this product that just holds your pump in place. So there are 2 different ways that I have seen that are free or frugal ways of making a hands-free pumping bra. One is to take a really old sports bra that you just don't love or don't use anymore and cut holes in it. The other way is the hairband trick. And so I used 4 hairbands, and since I've got long hair, they were free because I already had 7 bajillion of them. And I took So I would take and loop it through. I would do one like this on the bottom of my bra and the side of my bra, and the flange would go in the loop in between. If you would like a video on exactly how I do the hairband trick, I'll figure out a way to layer it so I can be modest, but let me know in the comments down below if you want to see how that's done. But this was something that I didn't actually end up paying for because I had already bought the hairbands, and so I just kept 4 of these in my pump bag and I was all ready to go. The next 2 products that I'm going to talk about are going to be ones that definitely other moms love. It's not something that worked for us, and so I just want to put it out there. And one of them is going to be a nursing cover. Now this is just one by Boppy. It's an apron style, goes over your head, and it's got this little boning in the front so I can see down at what I'm doing. Now I liked having this in the very beginning because my daughter and I were still learning how to nurse. However, I didn't use the cover after like week 3. I used the 2-shirt method where one shirt comes up, one shirt comes down, and there's all of this much skin showing, and baby's head goes right in front of it. If occasional times that I did end up wanting to cover up and I wasn't using the 2-shirt method, I could actually take a blanket and I would tuck it up into the strap of my bra or the shirt that I was wearing, and that would give me that coverage. Most nursing covers are between $30 to $40, and the amount of use I got out of this doesn't justify that price point. I will give the disclaimer, I did use this a lot for pumping when I went back to work, because when you're pumping, your business is just all out there, and this definitely gave me a little bit of discretion. But instead of this, I could have used a muslin swaddle blanket and just tied a knot in the corners and used that over my head to pump as well, and I would have gotten a lot more use out of a swaddle blanket than I would this one nursing cover. This also does have the little piece on the top that you can slide from side to side to let you know what side you pumped on last. I love the idea of that because you definitely do want to make sure you're alternating back and forth. However, after like day 7, you really don't need something to remind you. You can kind of just tell because one is significantly heavier than the other. You'll see a lot of new moms groping themselves to figure out which breast needs to go next. Hopefully they're only doing that at home. While I like the idea of a nursing cover, there are some modest and discreet ways of nursing that don't cost me $30 or $40. So I do regret purchasing my nursing cover. It's not a bad product, it's just not one that worked for us. And then the last item is definitely going to be one that a lot of parents are like, oh my god, how could you say that? And that is a boppy pillow. Now, I am a pleasantly plump mom. A boppy pillow never really fit around my torso the way it was supposed to. I definitely did use it, especially in the beginning, for a little while, but the first couple of weeks I didn't really use it. There's only one day that I do remember using it consistently, and that was around the 6-week mark, and that was when she had a massive growth spurt and spent pretty much the entire day nursing. I used it really well for that one day. One day. It's $40. I can't justify $40 for one day for a product that doesn't change my baby themselves. Again, I'm not saying that it's a bad product in any way. It just didn't really work for us because I was pleasantly plump and larger chested. It didn't really work out that well. I could have easily used a pillow that I already owned. Also, I did learn how to nurse while laying down. Look into doing that safely if you choose to do so. But because of me being able to nurse laying down, and I didn't really have a big chair set up anywhere, I didn't really end up using my boppy as much as I thought I was going to do. I definitely still have it. My husband did use it occasionally when he was feeding our daughter in the very beginning because he had never fed a baby before. But for us, that's just $30 or $40 that we could have definitely used on some other product. It's just not something that I would buy again for me. I definitely think that women that had bigger babies or ones that are a little bit smaller, it would have gotten a little bit more use out of, but it's not something that worked for our family. There's one more product, and I actually don't have it here to show you, and that is alcohol test strips for breast milk. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't drink while I was breastfeeding. I did. Full disclaimer. Life happens. I spent 10 months not drinking during pregnancy, and in the very beginning of her life, Mama wants to have a drink every now and then. Makes me a better mother. And I did end up using one of the test strips, and I think it was a box of 8 or 10, and it was like $15. So when I was pregnant, I was very much, yes, I need to know this because I need to be able to make sure that if I drink, I'm not going to get my baby drunk. Well, after I became a breastfeeding mom, I learned a lot of good resources to look into, including one called kellymom.com, and that's where I go to for a lot of my breastfeeding resources. And on it, it has with medical agreement that if you're sober enough to drive, you're sober enough to feed your baby. The alcohol in your milk metabolizes at the same time as the alcohol in your bloodstream, so if you are drunk, your milk is drunk. If you are sober, your milk is sober. And so the other thing that I didn't really take into account is I didn't get drunk anymore, because one was enough. It helped take the edge off the day, and I was still able to nurse comfortably knowing that I wasn't going to harm my baby. If I did know that I was going to go out and have more than one drink, I would consider leaving baby with a bottle of pumped milk, but I would try to not pump and dump unless I absolutely had to relieve the pressure, because once I would remove the milk from my body, it would no longer unmetabolize the alcohol. So the alcohol content in the milk would stay there. So unless you know that you're going to be so incredibly full that you cannot take it, wait until you are sober again and pump then, because your milk will be fine to feed to your baby at that point. So that is all the products that I didn't really end up needing as a nursing mom. This is definitely something that's going to be personal for each nursing mom and nursling. So while this might not have worked for our family, these are things that you might decide to, if you want to get them, wait until you know that you actually need them. If you don't end up needing them, just return them. But if you want to have that peace of mind knowing that it's at home ready for you, by all means go ahead. If there's any questions about any of these products, please let me know in the comments down below. And make sure you don't forget to hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss any of our mom life journey. Bye-bye.